Hello everyone, JGGPilot here. Today we're going to be talking about the Multifunction Control Display Unit, or MCDU / FMS, on the Airbus 320 family. Today we're using the Fenix Airbus 321, and we're going to be building a flight plan, putting up performance, and learning how to properly program the MCDU. The MCDU is this beautiful box you see here with all these outstanding little keys, numbers, letters, and 8 houses inside of it, the Flight Management Guidance System, FMGS. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all those awesome details about the MCDU. How about we just learn how to use it so you can go ahead and take it to the skies with the Fenix Airbus 320 family. I'm using today a SimBrief flight plan just for the exercise, and the flight plan I created is going from San Juan, Tango Juliet, Sierra Juliet to Miami, Kilo Mike, India Alpha. I have here my Navigraph OFP, or Operational Flight Plan page displayed, and I took the liberty of highlighting some important data points that we're going to be using. Just to remember, if you were to look at your aircraft built-in EFB under My Flights, you can go ahead and import your flight plan, and of course you're going to have access to it by doing the scroll down and going to the operational flight plan. For now, we're just going to leave it on this page because we are going to use some of those numbers as we move. So pretty quick, it's going to be a short video. I just want you guys to be able to go ahead and learn how to use the MCDU. To pre-fly your MCDU, once the airplane is powered on and electrical power is established, that's kind of a redundancy there, the MCDU should load up, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to start on data. And just before we keep moving, we're gonna do data, init, flight plan, progress, perf, secondary. So we're gonna go ahead and start. Data. What are we looking for here? First step, position monitor. What you want to check is that the position of the aircraft, once you align the IDIRSs up in the overhead, matches with the geographical location where you're parked. And in the previous video, I show you guys, when you look at your charts, there's a chart that will tell you exactly these coordinates. So data, position monitor, make sure it matches. The second data, aircraft status, and this is what's telling you your engine model, what airline you're flying, your database active in the secondary, and here is where you're going to change your fuel bias. We're going to do so by referencing our flight plan. When you look at your flight plan, down here it has bias 5.0. So how do we change that? You're going to type ARM, put it on line select key number 5 on the left, this one here, and then we're gonna determine the value from the flight plan. 5.0%. It's a slash because it's gonna be here for the performance side of it, slash 5.0, and that completes the data part of the MCDU. Moving forward, init. We're going to be telling the FMS, or the MCDU, what are we doing today? Well, here we go, San Juan, Miami, but it needs the ICAO identifier. So if you look at your route portion of your flight plan, you have those. San Juan is Tango Juliet, Sierra Juliet, Miami, Kilo Mike, India Alpha, and we do have an alternate today of West Palm Beach, PBI, which, by the way, pretty soon it won't be PBI no more. It will be Delta Juliet Tango, or Kilo Delta Juliet Tango. We're not gonna get into that conversation. So Tango Juliet Sierra Juliet / Kilo Mike India Alpha. Drop it in there. Company route, nothing to do there. Alternate company route, we do have an alternate. Kilo Papa Bravo India PBI. Flight number is going to start with a 3-letter airline identifier followed by the flight number. And if you look at your flight plan right here, AAL1234. So AAL1234, drop it in there. Moving down, cost index. You look at your flight plan on the header section, it says cost index 5. You can type 5 or you can do 005. 5 is sufficient. Cruise flight and temperature. For the cruise flight, you're going to have to come down here, excuse me, and it says top of climb, flight level 340. We're going to go ahead and type flight level 340. Drop it in there. Ground temperature, temperature outside. And I believe the weather was reported, and we can see that here too, as 29 degrees, but we're going to just verify because it's going to be here given to you somewhere in the weather section. All the NOTAMs. Where's my weather section? 31 degrees is what is shown in that one. And so just go with 31 degrees. Whatever the outside air temperature is, take it, put it there. Tropopause. I believe I discussed that on the previous video. Under the Airbus family, there's a limitation that they want you to update the pre-populated tropopause with the actual tropopause, just in case the tropopause altitude is below your final cruising altitude. The airplane might capture the tropopause altitude instead of your flight plan top altitude. We don't want that. So just for practice, and it's a very good thing to do every single time, update that to your tropopause, which is top of climb, flight level 340, the last digit, tropopause high TH 490. And we're not going to touch this wind section just yet because we have no points on the flight plan. So this completes init page A. We're going to go to the right, and that's your second page. Here we're going to have to tell the airplane it's zero fuel weight, CG, block fuel, alternate fuel. One interesting point I want to make about these numbers, and when we have a closeout once the airplane is loaded, is SimBrief, and to my belief or knowledge, nobody is actually calculating CG for you for the flight simulator. Not sure why. I know the performance book for this is more than 200 pages to come up with that calculation. We're just gonna go with what the built-in EFB shows us. Just to grab the zero fuel weight and zero fuel weight CG, we can take a quick look, and it's shown in here under mass imbalance. And remember, we haven't been loaded yet. We're gonna update those numbers at the end. So we're gonna use 110.6 and 23.9. So 110.6 and 23.9. 110.6, 23.9. Put that in there. The block fuel is the planned fuel. We have that one as well from our flight plan. You can either look at it right here. It's shown release fuel 24.7, and it's 24.7 as well in your mass and balance page. So 24.7. And remember, every time you have an alternate listed on your flight plan, you want to tell the MCDU how much fuel is required. And you don't have to look too far. Under alternate PBI, it's showing 2.359. We can round that up to 2.4. 2.4. Alternate 2.4. And that concludes the pre-flight on the init part of the MCDU. Now we go to the fun part. Let's build a flight plan. Flight plan. We already have San Juan and Miami from init page A, but he doesn't know what departure, what points, what arrival, what approach. And if there's an alternate airport, there might be a route involved to get there. So we're in San Juan, going to Miami, looking at the flight plan. We're going to be flying a Coney 3 PAL2 departure, PAL transition, direct to FECO Yankee 308. That is a route to Haggett, direct to FODIT, direct to Mattis, to join the Vice to arrival into Miami. So starting from the top, San Juan, you're going to select on the left. It's what we call lateral revisions on the Airbus world. We're going to do a lateral revision. We're going to go and say departure. We're going to select a runway. Where we're planning today for runway 8. Runway 8. Look, A Coney. By the way, if there's more departures listed, up and down arrows will show them to you. You see? We're on the top. If I hit that, all the way to no sit. When you see the no sit, you know you're at the end. So we're going to go back to the top, A Coney 3. And we have to PAL-D. We're going to use real quick the flight plan one more time to see if it goes just to PAL-D. And there it is. So once you have that in, you're going to hit insert. If you want to go to the top of the flight plan, the quickest way is to hit flight plan again, or you can scroll up and down, up and down. So just hit flight plan just to go real quick to the top. San Juan, runway 8, A Coney to PAL-D, because they have no SAPO transition, as you can see in the departure. So just to revisit it one more time, lateral revision, departure, select the runway, scroll right, A Coney 3. And again, the A Coney 3, if you look at the departure chart, can go all the way to SAPO, but SAPO is not specified on the route today, so we won't take it. If setting here A Coney 3 SAPO, you'll click that one, and then you'll go back and insert it. All right. Another quick thing here. You see the flight plan discontinuity here. You might be guessing, why? Well, it's a good thing. The departure out of San Juan actually has that. They want you to take off on heading 078 to 520, then hit heading 350 in manual. Manual on the Airbus means it's a vector. You're just gonna fly on that heading until they say otherwise. We're gonna do a route verification at the end to make sure it all makes sense. Moving on, I'm gonna scroll down here. A Coney, PAL-D. After PAL-D, they want us to go direct to FECO. We're gonna type FECO, F-E-K-K-O. It goes right after PAL-D. And you see the discontinuity there, right? We don't want that one. You can clear that one with using the clear and putting it on the discontinuity. Insert. FECO, it has a Yankee 308. To have an airway inserted, lateral revision. Lateral revision. You see right here it says airways. You're gonna select that. And we're gonna type here the airway name, which is Yankee 308. And where to? You see, it's telling you, hey, where to? Well, after Yankee 308, they want you to go to Haggett. So Haggett, Hotel Alpha, Golf, India, Tango, Yankee 308, Haggett, insert. And here we go. We're good up to Haggett. Now we need to put FODIT. So Foxtrot, Oscar, Delta, Echo, Delta, FODIT. Clear the discontinuity. FODIT, insert. Mattis and Vice. You can type Mattis, but if you look at your chart, Mattis is the first point on the Vice to arrival coming from the east. So how do I tell the MCDU I need an arrival? Lateral revision. Keep it in your head. Lateral revisions. Click on the left of what you want to make a revision on, and you might see the option there to do so. So you see Miami. Click Miami on the left. You see that arrival up there? Click arrival. Let's say we're going to use ILS 9 today. Why not? And you see it starts with a no star option. Scroll it, and you're gonna find, look at that, Vice 2. Gonna click on Vice 2, and it's on the right side. It's gonna show you different transitions you have for the arrival. We're gonna be using Mattis. So Mattis, look at that. It's showing you arrival to Miami will be to ILS 9 via leg on the Vice 2 from Mattis. By the way, these via here, you see these approach vias? If you wanted to populate the approach starting from the first point to load all the points possible for such an approach vias, and if there was more than one point here, it will show right here and you click on it. Since there's only leg or no via, I'm just gonna leave it a leg. Return. I like what I see. I'm gonna insert it. I'm gonna take a look one more time to make sure that after the first discontinuity, which is needed, I don't have any other ones because everything else is supposed to be connected. And look, everything is connected. After folded, it goes to Matisse for the Vice 2 into Miami, which should and on a vector. And then that discontinuity there makes sense because the last point on the arrival is Bills. After Bills is a vector, and we want that vector to join the ILS at runway 9 at some point. Now, this is all the approach, misapproach instructions. You see there's a Miami, there's a West Palm Beach in there. If you look at your alternate route, they want you to fly Miami to Wilba to, there it is, Kilo Delta Juliet Tango. So it might be coming up soon. We're gonna change the T as in Tango to, you can guess. So we need to insert that Wilba here. How do we do that? Well, really easy. Type it, Wilba, and put it on top. And oh, look at that, good thing. There's two Wilbas in the world. There's one about 935 miles away and one 7,400 miles away. Makes sense. We're flying to Miami from San Juan. It's about 1,000 miles, give or take. This one is the one we need. And if we go, and look at that, look, Miami, Wilba, West Palm Beach. It can be with a discontinuity in between or not. It doesn't matter. Because if we do have to go miss and we decide to go to West Palm, we can probably fly or request direct to Wilba, and from there put an arrival and approach in there, which it is a really good thing to do when you're building your alternate route. Pre-populate an approach. Why not? You go to the airport again, lateral revision, select arrival, and we can just select the active approach they have there for the day at the time of our departure. So there's an ILS. Let's go ahead and put it in there. We're not going to use a star because we're coming from a diversion, and that's all you need. If you need another approach via, they will be listed here. And look at that, we have no VIA, GULO, or PBI. How about we use GULO? And return, insert. Now, flight plan page is complete. Once the flight plan is complete, it is a good time to go back to init and specify some winds. So you go to init, a wind, and here we can try doing wind requests and pull them from SimBrief flight plan, or for today's practice session, we can type them. We're gonna look at our flight plan. We're gonna have a little wind section in which they're gonna specify winds, in this case, flight level 180, flight level 240, 300, and 340. So the lowest we have for climb winds out of San Juan is showing 087 at 23 at 18,000. So we're gonna type 087 at 23 knots, and that is at flight level 180. And that will come here. And we could potentially have another one for 24,000 as well. Why not? 093, excuse me, 93 at 13 knots, and this one is at flight level 240. We could potentially put a third one. This is just helping the MCDU do an even better calculation for performance and predictions. This is for the climb winds in here. We can go to the next phase. At FECO, cruise winds, we're gonna be at 340 today, which is kind of funny that we do have the specific altitude matching the top wind chart we have. For FECO, it's showing 219 at 6. At flight level 340. We can scroll to the next point. Antox 219 at 6. 340. Type it in there. Next point is Haggett 148 at 15. 148 15 at flight level 340. And you keep scrolling. Voted 159.17. And Mattis. Because I know Mattis, we're gonna probably start descending after Mattis. So 343 at 10. Flight level 340. Next phase will be descent winds. And I'm gonna use points after Mattis to help the aircraft know. I'm gonna go on the 300 chart, probably use Willems 040 at 18. And this one is at flight level 300. Clyer 045. 18 knots. This one is at 240. Gonna get one more wind out there, probably close to Miami at 18,000. 065. No, 091. 10, and this is at 18,000. And with that insert, we have winds on our aircraft. Your next point of pre-flight will be proc page, and here is technique only. One of your MCDUs could be using the destination with a runway, and that will give you the distance and bearing to go, or you can use the departure airport and the runway you plan on arriving to. If you have to come back to the departure airport for a non-normal, you can drop that in there too, and it will tell you how far away and how to get there. So for my side here, I'm just gonna leave Miami 09. You can have the FOs of First Officers MCDU with an immediate return. Tango Juliet 0 Julia 10 will work. We're done with prod. Go to perf. Here, the first perf page will be your takeoff. Second one will be your. It won't give me the option just yet. Oh, because this is the old FMS. Next phase: climb, cruise, descent, approach, go around. So let's go ahead and take a look here real quick at your Navigraph flight plan from SimBrief. And you have some numbers given to you here. So you can either use those numbers, or we can go ahead and use the ones from the mass imbalance and takeoff performance function from the built-in EFB from Fenix. So for today's performance, we're gonna go and use our amazing EFB, and on the drop-down menu, you see the little airplane here taking off. That will be your runway, meaning you're landing. Taking off, and here we go. We're in San Juan 8, dry numbers. We can sync the load sheet prelim, and that will kind of give the airplane numbers already. And we can sync the live weather, which now is showing 29, which you can also update that on your init page A. You're gonna hit calculate, and ta-da! We have them here. Though, you have two options. You can send that to the MCDU directly, or we can go ahead and type them manually. How about we type them? 54, 61, 61, flex 54. So 54, 61, 61, and 54. So 154, 161, 161, flex of 54, that goes into the flex to temperature. Thrust reduction and engine outs, we can go with what they have in here. You can always change that on your EFB as well, or we can just use 1,000 feet above field elevation. San Juan is 10 feet, so we can do 10, 10. Again, you can always update these numbers. 10, 10. If it's blue, you can do. If it's green, you can change. And 10, 10 again. Look at this. Awesome. And then we need to do flaps and what is the step trim setting. So you go back and look at your takeoff performance, and it's telling you flaps to or config to up 0.7. So config to, type 2 / up 0.7. Okay. And that, my friends, has your performance for takeoff loaded. If you needed it down for some reason here, it will look like this. Let's say it's config 2 and down 0.7, DN point whatever, and you drop it in there, and that's it. But today it's up 0.7, so up 0.7. Done. And then on inside performance, that's the first page. You go to the next one just to make sure cost index is showing what they want us to fly today, which, remember, it was a 5. They're trying to save money and gas. So it's a 5, it's a 5. And all these green digits and values you cannot change. So that's okay. Now, you see this pre-sale and a blue with an asterisk. What does that do or mean to you? If you were flying a departure that for some reason had like, hey, I want you to maintain 280 after you pass 10,000 until further advice, Charlotte, for example, and you want to have a little good reminder on your FCU, your autopilot panel, like not to forget, if you put like a 280 or 250 here, let's say 250, pre-selected, once you cross certain height, the speed window will open. It's going to show 250, and then you'll be guessing, why is it showing 250? I have it on manage. Oh, wait, after 10,000 feet, I got to keep 280. Now I know. That's a really good tool to use. I'm not going to confuse you anymore with it. So that's climb page. Cruise page is showing you all this stuff in green. Manage speed 0.69. Again, you could change that. I don't want to fly 0.69. It's kind of slow. You can probably go 0.78. Yeah, I like it. Next phase. Descent. One technique I like to tell people. Make sure that everything here matches, because if you're cruising and you start descending and you were doing Mach 7.8 and you left this alone, it will slow down on you to 0.69 251. So let's make sure it matches 0.78, and I want to use 290 indicated once it transitions from Mach number to indicated. That's how you do it. 0.78, 290. Next phase, approach. This one we're gonna fill out on approach. But if you wanted to take a quick review on this one, in the previous video I showed you how to do it. QNH, you set your current field altimeter setting. Let's say 2992 for no reason, but for whatever reason. Temperature 29 in San Juan or Miami. Winds, I don't know, 110 or 100 at 14. And you start typing flight level 185. In reality, it's really flight level 180. We can update that in the United States. It's already giving you a view approach. Here you can select if you're going to be landing config 3 or config full. Remember, if you're going to do config 3, you got to go into your overhead, and I'm going to show you where. Here, and select that to landing flap 3. But if you're not gonna do landing flap 3, turn that off, keep it off. Back to the MCDU. Radio, not needed for normal ILSs, and baro, whatever the decision altitude is, baro minimums for your approach. If you were doing an auto land, Cat 3, dual, displayed on you, you want to type that in the radio field and it will fly the airplane all the way down to the runway. But there you go. Let's keep it at 208. Once again, during your MCDU pre-flight, you don't have to do this page. And your next page is just go around values. So this completes your perf and your last step. Secondary flight plan is a really good tool to use. Here you can have pre-plan an immediate return to the departure airport in case of a non-normal event. You can have terrain escape routes if you're going to be flying over terrain. Say you're in South America and you're going to be crossing or flying close or over the Andes. There's specified escape routes in case of the pressurization emergency or something on that line. So today we're going to use it in case we have to come back to San Juan. And again, Tango Juliet Sierra Juliet and Tango Juliet Sierra Juliet. Use the departure airport twice, drop it in there, and you don't have to do anything here. It's just going to be an immediate return. You're going to go back to secondary flight plan. You're going to select the bottom San Juan here, and you're going to get the arrival, and all you need is an approach. We're going to come back to 10 with no star, and for the VIAs, no VIA. And return, and it's already loaded in here for you. And how do you activate that in case you actually need to use it? You go to secondary, you activate secondary, and it will be your active flight plan. Once the MCDU has been completely programmed, it is a good idea to do a route verification just to make sure that all the points match. If there's discontinuities, they are actually required to be there and not that we forgot to clear them up. So we're gonna do this starting from the departure. I have here San Juan, a Coney 3 RNF departure, and it starts like this. We're gonna be leaving San Juan, runway 8 on a heading 078 to 520, then heading 350 manual. If you look at your chart, runway 8 right here, we're gonna be taking off on heading 078 to 520 and then making a left turn heading 350 for a vector. So all that looks good. Gonna continue looking down. I'm gonna go ahead and clear that up. Excuse me. And then it's showing a Coney. We have a Coney and then Paldi. And all that looks good. After that, what we're looking for is the route that you have on your PDC, your clearance, either from say intentions or beyond ATC, and it's showing FECO. It's Paldi, and then FECO Yankee 308 all the way to Haggett, Fodet, Matisse for the Vice 2. All that looks good, all the way to Miami. That discontinuity we needed there, and it's showing distance 943, and the flight plan shows the distance on the top, 954. So we're pretty close. And with that being done, your route verification is complete. If you want to do this even more realistic, while you're doing this on your MCDU, looking at your clearance and your charts, you can have your, let's show you here real quick. You can have your navigation display on plan mode Let's go to plan mode. And while you're scrolling, let's put that on 10. See if I can get it. There you go. All right, let's go back to here. So while you're scrolling down on your MCDU, you're gonna be following the route with all the points all the way to your destination. And that, my friends, is how you do a route verification on the Fenix Airbus A320 Family MCDU. So, MCDU has been loaded. Route verification has been accomplished. The airplane has been boarded. Fuel received. You get your final numbers. Load closeout. We gotta update our performance to reflect those weights. So, we're gonna take a quick look at the built-in EFB. And by looking at the built-in EFB, we show here now our new zero fuel weight, new zero fuel weight CG, and we're gonna have new performance that we can calculate here. I can see already that the numbers did not change much in terms of, actually they stood the same. They're the same, 54, 61, 61, flex 54, but the stab trim went to up 0.28. So let me grab my zero fuel weight and the CG 150.4. Perfect. So 150.4. You're gonna go to fuel prediction. Click fuel prediction. 150.4 slash and 25.3. 25.3. Ta-da! Now we need to get our up 0.8. Speeds are the same. Flat config 2 up 0.8. So we're gonna update that on perf. Oh, guess what? It's up 0.8 already. Magic. So once you receive your load closeout, you want to update those numbers, and that way, once you start your engines, your gross weight here should be showing you a very accurate number that you can go off and accurately look at it and say, wow, that gross weight is really, really close to this number based on what you planned for the flight. So just to review one more time what buttons you have to press so you can get your MCDU properly pre-flighted so you can fly the Fenix Airbus A320 family like a pro. Data, position monitor, data, aircraft status. If you have a code, ARM, Alpha Romeo Mike on the blue, and then / and the bias value here. Init, page A, page B, flight plan, all the way down. Prog, perf, with all its faces. Secondary flight plan. Friends, this is how you do an MCDU on the Airbus A320 family. I hope you learned something today. If there's any doubts, any ideas, any suggestions, please reach out. This is JGGPilot. See you next time.